You know, going through a divorce is, without a doubt, one of the toughest things anyone can face. It's like navigating a minefield, right? Every single step is a huge emotional and financial decision with consequences that can last forever. But what if you had a map? What if you could see those landmines before you got anywhere near them? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to break down the biggest, most common regrets people have, and, most importantly, show you how to sidestep them completely.
So let's just jump right in. What is the single biggest mistake you can make during a divorce? I mean, the one thing? The answer to this, well, it's kind of the key that unlocks everything else. It explains why all the other mistakes happen. And getting a handle on it, that's your best line of defense right from the start.
All right, here it is, the single biggest mistake, the one that really sets off all the other problems, the emotional decision trap. It sounds pretty simple, but believe me, when you're in the thick of a divorce, your own feelings can become your absolute worst enemy. Now, take a look at this, because it shows the fundamental battle that's going on inside. On the left, you've got these incredibly powerful emotional triggers. And hey, it's totally normal to feel them. Anger, wanting a little revenge, maybe even guilt. But then look at the right side. Those are the rational goals that are actually going to build your future. Things like fairness, long-term stability, and successful co-parenting if you have kids. These two sides are basically at war, and whichever one you let take the wheel is going to determine your entire future.
And this really gets to the heart of the problem. It's all about the long-term damage. The source material puts it perfectly. Letting emotions guide major choices often leads to agreements that people later regret. Just think about that for a second. One decision you make today out of pure anger could mean a decade of financial pain or a busted relationship with your kids. It's that serious.
Okay, so let's move on to the next landmine, which honestly usually happens because of those emotional decisions we just talked about. Regret number 2 is acting without a lawyer. It's that huge temptation to just go it alone to save a little time or money. But as you're about to see, that is a risk that is almost never, ever worth taking. The source material really flags 2 critical moves you should never, ever make on your own. First up, delaying getting that legal help. Look, your friends and family mean well, they really do, but their advice is no substitute for a professional who understands the law. And the second one, oh, this is a biggie, and it might even feel a little backward, leaving the home before you talk to an attorney. I know, you're probably thinking, but I'm just trying to cool things down. But in the eyes of the law, that can be seen as abandoning the family, and that can seriously, seriously hurt your claims to both custody and property. On to our third major regret, rushing to the finish line. This whole thing is fueled by what our source calls the myth of a quick and easy split. That desire to just get it over with is so powerful, but man, is it a trap. This slide just nails the mindset shift you have to make. The hope so often is for this nice, easy, amicable split where you and your spouse are still a team. But the reality is you are now 2 separate individuals, and you each need to protect your own future. And frankly, one person's desire to keep things nice can be exploited by the other to push through a really one-sided deal. And this is where the danger really lies. Rushing to say yes to that first offer just to avoid a fight can lock you into a deal that is practically impossible to change later. When you're talking about property, support, custody, that signature is pretty much final. Patience here is your strategic advantage. All right, landmine number 4 is a huge one, the financial blind spot. This is all about failing to do the really detailed, nitty-gritty work of understanding the complete financial picture, and of course, securing your own future. And this leads us to something very serious, and unfortunately, way too common: hidden assets. So what does that even mean? Well, it's not just about making a little mistake on a form. We're talking about the active failure to disclose everything. And the consequences for that are severe. It can lead to a settlement that's totally unfair, and it can bring on some major legal penalties. The law demands full transparency here. So how do you protect yourself from this? Here's your clear, non-negotiable checklist. First, you have to become a financial detective. I'm serious. Collect everything: bank statements, tax returns, investment records, you name it. Second, you need to work with a professional to identify all the marital assets, because you can't divide what you don't even know exists, right? Third, and this is so crucial, do not hide anything yourself. It will be found and the penalties are harsh. And finally, start planning your new post-divorce budget. Not later, start now. This isn't just a fence. It's about taking control of your new life. So, we've walked through all these potential regrets. So, where does that leave us? Well, it all comes down to your path forward. The absolute key is to make rationality, not emotion, your guide through this entire difficult process. So here's the bottom line. Avoiding all those tactical traps we've talked about, the legal mistakes, the financial screw-ups, the rushed agreements, all of it, every single bit, depends on mastering that first emotional challenge. If you can keep a clear head, you can make smart decisions. It's as simple as that. And we're going to leave you with this one question, just to kind of reframe how you're thinking about all this. Are you ready to stop treating this like a personal battle and start treating it like a business deal for your future? Because making that mindset shift, that might just be the single most powerful thing you can do to avoid regret and start building a new, stable, and successful life for yourself.